Dear colleagues, PC rent has occurred in this case. The surgery was being done by one of my fellows. Now I have taken up this case for managing the PC rent. A big chunk of nucleus has dropped into the vitreous cavity. And now I have injected some amount of triamcinolone acetate and doing anterior vitrectomy. After doing adequate anterior vitrectomy, I remove the cortical matter, and then I am putting this trocar in the inferotemporal quadrant. This is the right eye of the patient. This is another trocar in the supranasal aspect. So I have planned 3-port vitrectomy and removal of the big chunk of nucleus that has dropped into the vitreous cavity. And now doing adequate vitrectomy and making the nuclear fragment free from vitreous. I tried to emulsify this big chunk by a fragmentum, but I could do it only partially. So I have planned it to lift it up, and I have supported it with the light pipe and I have brought it into the anterior chamber over the iris. And now as I keep it over the iris, it remains there because the fluid is there behind this nuclear piece, and there's a constant current between the irrigation and aspiration and the outflow through this trocar. So I have planned to enlarge the 2.8mm incision and remove the nuclear piece through the limbal incision. The patient belonged to a non-paying category. This is a patient which was screened from an eye camp, and I can't afford to give a multipiece intraocular lens in this case, and so this is a PMMA a lens, and this is a very good lens, 6mm optic. The size of the rexis was about 5.5mm, and this 6mm optic size will sit over the anterior capsular rim very well. Here the trailing haptic was not going into the sulcus, so I go through the side port with the Sinskey hook and dial it in the sulcus. And now I pull the other haptic and place it, center the lens over the anterior capsular rim, and it's nicely centered lens. And now I put some sutures, 3 sutures required to close the limbal incision. All the sclerotomy sites are closed with 70 Vicryl, and that has been edited out. The knots are buried in the tissue so that irritation doesn't occur. These are 10 O nylon sutures, and finally the antechamber is formed. Some irrigation of BSS is done like this, so that the intraocular pressure becomes normal. Thank you very much for your attention.